Thank Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining. Today we have with us Ms Sangeetha Chakrapani. She needs no introduction. She's a well-known parent in autistic community. But here is a brief introduction for us. Ms Sangeetha is the parent of two adult daughters with autism. She is the co-founder of Together Foundation at Mumbai and the Together Community, a residential project for people with special needs at Hosur. She is the designer of teaching programs for work skills and communication building. She's the author of Auti Tales and interactive stories for people with autism, and TalkTime, a functional communication program. She is also a Don Bosco postgraduate diploma holder in integrated education and counseling, and is a certified young adults provider at UCLA Peers. She firmly believes that, like anyone else, autistic people also need to work towards a life of happiness as they grow older. She's also a renowned TEDx speaker, and her videos on YouTube are very popular and are watched by thousands of people around the world. Welcome, ma'am. So happy to have you with us today.
Thank you for such a generous and extravagant description of my capabilities. How would you like to uh, work this out? Bindu, would you like me to present to the parents about Together Foundation? Do you want me to talk about that? How would you want to, what is it that parents want to know?
If you could spend a few minutes talking about your own parenting journeys so far with your daughters, how you have built life skills in them and how you have taught them to become independent, that would be great. And then we could talk about Together and your upcoming.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. And it's nice to be with a group of other parents and professionals and share our learnings and experiences. And my journey with autism began when my children were diagnosed at the ages of 2 and 3. My children were born in the year 2004. There are 4 of them. They are quadruplets, 3 girls and a boy. And since I had all the 4 children at the same time, parenting became a very complex journey. And along the way, one moment. Sorry. So along the way, with the general pressures of early parenting that all of us go through when there's a baby at home and when there is a baby to raise, and here you can imagine there are 4 babies to raise at the same time. The first thing that came along our way was Jayanti's diagnosis. Jayanti was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2. And at that time, I had no idea. I had not even heard the word autism. But just coincidentally, just 2 days before I took Jayanti to a developmental pediatrician, because I knew that something was wrong. I could make out that compared to the other children, Jayanti was so different. I happened to read an article in the Times of India. It was on the 2nd or the 3rd page. It was a huge article. And the headline of that article was The 10 Signs of Autism. And it had one list out there. And as I read that list, I could feel myself panicking. I could feel a sense of panic and something very, very uncomfortable growing inside me, a growing sense of alarm, because I realized that many of these things seemed awfully familiar and seemed very, very common with what Jayanti was showing me those days. Those days, Jayanti's name was Devaki. So she had stopped responding to her name. At birth, she had been named Devaki. And and she had stopped turning to look at me. And she used to pick up a toy, any object, anything she used to pick up, and she used to bring it right here. right here, and she used to look at it like this way, turning here. So this had all started a few weeks before I saw this article. So when I read the article, it was almost as if somebody was telling me, somebody was giving me a warning that look, something is going on and you need to know what it is. So nobody wants to know actually, when nobody wants to know that there is a problem in the house. And nobody certainly wants to know that there's a problem with one's child. That's the last thing that somebody wants to hear. So it was a difficult decision. It took a lot of guts to even go to the doctor in the first place. So I didn't go to a developmental pediatrician because I didn't know that there was something like that. I just went to a general physician. I went to a doctor. I said, let's go to a doctor and ask what's going on. So we went to a very senior doctor in a hospital, and he was very kind to us and he was very nice to us. And when we told him about the quadruplets, and I remember it was late in the evening and Jayanti was so tiny. She was not even 2 years old, a very small built child. And at that time, during that meeting, Jayanti gave very good eye contact to doctor. She was looking at him continuously. And he said, wonderful, fantastic. Why are you worried? So I said, no, doctor, she's not talking. So what, Mrs. Chakrapani? Many children start speaking very late. You should not panic. You should not worry. So a part of me was rejoicing. 90% of me was jumping up and down. Thank God, Baba, nothing is wrong. I was so happy. I was so relieved. The doctor said nothing is wrong. But as I came back home, again, that small ball of anxiety somewhere was there. That have we asked enough? Did we check enough? Did we discuss enough? ऐसा तो नहीं है that we are kidding ourselves. So I took a second opinion. So much as I wanted to dwell in that part of the conversation, I took a second opinion. And then I was asked to go to a developmental pediatrician. And that's when I had my first interaction with Umeed and with Dr. Vibha Krishnamurthy, who proceeded to tell us that Jayanti has autism. And Umeed gave us a small document talking to us about, telling us about what was autism. And that's when our entire lives took a very big, huge turning point, huge milestone in our lives when Jayanti was diagnosed with autism. And barely had I started understanding what is autism and the fact that you can actually work with people with autism, that the fact that there is hope, the fact that you can actually build a life with a child with autism, that itself took me years to figure out. In the meantime, Lakshmi got diagnosed. It was not even a year. My other daughter, Lakshmi, got diagnosed with autism. So yes, the early years were filled with a need to erase autism from our lives. So we were walking on 2, 3 tracks at the same time. The first track was, okay, now that we know that there's a problem with our children, how do we remove this problem? How do we make sure that our children don't have this problem anymore? How do we solve it? How do we fix it? That was one part of it. Second part of it was to do what Umeed was telling us to do, which said that please start the early intervention. Please start the therapy, which we were doing, but there was a part of it which is like, Abhi, kaun karega? Kab karke, when will we get you know, when will we get the results? When will we get so there was also a sense we were doing it. We were doing what we were asked to do, but our heart was not in it. So that was the second path, working on the therapy. The third part is we wanted our children to go out. We wanted them to go to school like other children. So we managed to get admission for them into an inclusive school where they also got a chance to wear a school uniform. They also got a chance to carry lunch dabba and snack dabba and water bottle. They also got a chance to go for a picnic. I also got a chance, like other mothers, to leave my children at the gate and to pick them up from the school gate. So those were also very vital experiences for me. because it was very traumatic for me to think of sending 2 children and not sending the other 2 children. Because on the other hand, there were Krishna and Jayashri, who were growing like 2 neurotypical children. So there were 2 camps inside the house. There were 2 children who were behaving differently, growing differently, communicating differently. And there were 2 children who were talking and laughing and playing games. And the children had an inseparable bond between them. Autism did not make a difference to them. So the children were not in camps, but in my mind, they were in 2 camps. In actual physical reality, they were one. They were mingling with each other. Despite the autism, they were managing to connect with each other. And all of that was going on. And so we were walking on these 3 tracks. So the first track, which was to try to erase autism from our lives, that we did all the things that many parents do, of doing intervention of different kinds of a medical nature, homeopathy, acupressure, acupuncture, Ayurveda, going to Kerala, staying over there, staying in an Ayurvedic village, getting different kinds of Ayurvedic treatment done, you name it. There is nothing that we did not try to do. So as we were trying it out, we were facing disappointment again and again, as we realized that they were not having any kind of long-standing impact on our children. So that was one where we were facing disappointment again and again. The second track was the therapy. So the therapy was going on. And we were getting what you call small results. Therapy is not magical in nature. You don't do it today and tomorrow you see a. So if we were inching forward by millimeters, by centimeters. So it was not giving us the joy, the results that we wanted very badly as young parents, because we wanted to see the changes fast. And the third part was the school route. So in school, what was happening is Lakshmi and Jayanti were not able to cope with academics. A lot which happens with many children with autism. Some of them are able to cope with academics. They're able to go through that whole school structure. They're able to reach grade 10, get a 10 standard certificate. Many of them go on to do the 11th and 12th, and they go on for higher education. There are many more children with autism for whom by around the ages of 8, 9, and 10, we realize that formal education is not working for them, is not beneficial to them. And they should be at an age when their mind is ready to absorb and learn. It is time we have a choice to make whether we want them to learn what we have decided they should learn, or should we give them a chance to learn what they need to learn and what they will enjoy learning. But I was not yet at the stage of maturity. I was not ready to accept that. So I continued with the school journey, despite realizing that Lakshmi and Jayanti were not happy at school. And how did I know that they were not happy at school? Because there were so many behavior issues that were coming up. So many things that they were doing in the classroom, which was telling me indirectly, Sangeetha, please stop this. It is like somebody making me sit for hours every day. If somebody takes me to a theater or a cinema hall and straps me to a seat and makes me watch a movie in the Russian language for 3.5 hours, and I have to sit there, I can't get up from my place. I have to follow all the rules and I have to sit there without understanding a word. Next day, the same person takes me, straps me to a seat, and makes me watch a movie in Japanese. And then it goes on and it on and on. And imagine if I'm doing this for years. The frustration level that will build up in me. So this is a lot of this was happening with Lakshmi and Jayanti. And somewhere I was beginning to realize the school is not working out. But there was a bigger fear in me. Oh my God, if we leave the school, what are we supposed to do? Where are we supposed to go? What do I do with 2 young daughters who are 8 or 9 years old? Where do I take them? You mean to say they'll sit at home and they won't study and they won't do anything? That was too painful for me to envisage or accept. So I would say that my actual growing up moment came only then. So they were diagnosed at the age of 2 and 3. So it took Sangeetha Chakrapani 5 to 6 years to grow up and to understand that there are different ways of learning, there are different ways of growing, and there are different ways of being happy. There is no one route to happiness, there is no one route to independence. And I remember that last day when I finally took them out of the school, they were so small, both of them, holding their hands when I walked down that road leading to the school for the last time. And I knew it was the last time that they would be wearing that school uniform. Even now, I can play that day back as if it happened this morning. How they looked, what they were wearing, what I was wearing, how the road looked, how the trees looked, how the sun and the sky looked. It was a very sad day in my life when I felt that a very big door was closing. But it took me some time to understand that I had to open another window. Nobody was going to open it for me. We are our own biggest hope. So I had to gather the courage to sit down and understand, okay, where are they standing now? What are Lakshmi and Jayanti's trends? What are the things that they face as challenges? What do I think they can learn? What do I feel they will enjoy doing? I had to start working on that. So what I did was, in an interim period, I admitted them into the care of a special educator, and so that they kept on with their learning. And in the meantime, I started doing my homework about what happens to children with autism who are not able to cope with academics. What do they do? What do they learn? How do they progress? And what is the bigger picture? So I made myself review everything, because any case everything had come to zero. In any case, I had to start again. So why not review everything? Why look at only the next 1 year? So I made myself think of a 2 year plan, a 5 year plan, and a 10-year plan. So they were 9 years old then. So I asked myself, where are they going to be at 11? Where are they going to be at 16? When Jayashree and Krishna go to college, where are they going to be? And where are they going to be, let's say, at the age of 23 or 24? At age when other children grow up, they start going for a job, or they move out into their own apartment, or they go abroad for higher studies, or whatever it is. What are Lakshmi and Jayanti going to do? What is going to be their growth chart? So I put that down on 2, 3 sheets of paper, and I started writing things that came to my mind. That was one of the things I did. Another thing I did was to visit a whole lot of centers of learning for children with autism across Bombay. Each and every one, I made a list. I went into the directory, I made a list, I took appointments and met all of them to understand what was happening and what were the avenues of learning. And that was as far as the 2 year plan and the 5 year plan went. Then I started asking uncomfortable questions. What happens when they grow up? What happens when they are 25? And let's say I'm 55 or 60. How am I going to care for them? Who's going to support them? How are they going to be? So when this came up, then that along with that came up the idea of where are they going to live? Who are they going to live with? So suddenly it was almost as if I had drawn the curtains, the sun was shining, and there were a whole lot of things that I had to deal with at one time. And for some reason, I felt no fear at that time. Because in any case, I had decided to question everything. So I started with what you call a transition to independent living. That's when the thought came to me that between the ages of 10 to the ages of 21 21 is the age when you look at an adult becoming independent, learning to be independent. So from the age of 10 to the age of 21, if we have to walk that path towards achieving that independence, and that independence is going to mean different things for different children with autism. So as I said, some children with autism will become independent in a different way. For example, they may be able to cope with academics. They may complete their school. They may complete their college. They may be able to take up open employment. They may be able to survive in the area of open employment. That's one way of becoming independent. Another is we have children with autism who may be able to cope with academics, but even after that are not able to take up open employment, but who require support, who require sheltered employment, or who may need help from their parents to set up a small business, who may have a family member mentoring them, where they do 50 to 60% and somebody does the remaining, and they carve their own path. And there may be others who are significantly more dependent and require significantly more support. That is also one more way, one more path. So, whatever it is, the fact is that we had to help them to achieve as much independence as possible over the next 10 to 11 years by the time they reached adulthood. That was the plan that I came up with. And that's when I started putting the plan together for establishing a organization that would help young adults with autism, give them a chance to learn pre-vocational, vocational work skills, and will give them a chance to come out of the school environment and experience what you call a college environment. So at Together Foundation was set up in the year 2015 as a registered public charitable trust. So right from day one, our plan was to give children with autism a chance to grow up, to learn skills that were of benefit to them, to not look at what they could not do, but to look at what they could do, what could be of use to them in the long run. And always the plan was that if they leave Together Foundation and go to another place and relocate to another city, they should not come back to square one. We should give them skills, help them to develop skills that gives them a chance to prosper wherever they go. That was also one of our visions. And of course, the second was the 10-year plan, which is how are they going to move to independent living. So once I set up Together Foundation, the next step, what I did is I started visiting centers of assisted living across the country. So I visited them along with my husband and CP and I, both of us went because for us, it was difficult for us to imagine. I'd imagine when you have a 9-year-old child with autism, it's very difficult for you to imagine as 30 and 40 years old. Even now, when I look at Lakshmi and Jayanti, I get a sense of surprise. Oh my God, they're 20 years old. It comes to me with a shock that they are actually, they are adults. I keep talking about it, but they're actually adults now. They have come to that stage. So for me to visit a assisted living center and to see an adult with autism who's not with his or her parents was itself a huge learning experience. That yes, it can be done. And yes, they can be happy. And yes, it doesn't mean that if their parents are not with them anymore, that they can't be happy or they can't be secure. Of course, they can be. We have to give them a chance. We have to give them the opportunities, and we also have to create a safe environment for them. So I was walking on 3 tracks one more time. So 3 more tracks developed in my life to take the place of the previous 3 tracks. I had 3 fresh tracks. So track 1 was helping my daughters at home to become more responsible for themselves, to start giving them chances to do things for themselves. to treat them, to talk to them as if they were just anybody else, to not allow autism to come between us, but to give them that extra support that autism needed. So that was one. The second track was the establishment of Together Foundation, and to give children with autism, young adults with autism, a chance to grow up and to learn skills that would be of benefit to them in the long run. And the third was the walk towards creating an assisted living community. The seeds were sown in the year 2015, but it took us 10 years to develop the assisted living model. That was a very long and arduous task. Together Foundation moved very fast as an organization. We set it up in 2015. In 2016, we had a bakery. We had started doing job work. In 2017, the bakery became FSSAI certified. We started doing paper plate manufacturing. In 2018, we set up a shop in the premises. We started computer skills. We started doing paper bag manufacturing. In 2019, we started data entry for HDFC Bank. We started manufacturing of other handicraft products. So like this, every year, the organization was growing fast. And it required single-minded focus from me. So we had a team of teachers who were both special educators as well as people from other walks of life. So our students had a chance to interact with different kinds of people and to learn from different kinds of people. So the young adults who came to Together Foundation, every adult is given a chance to explore different areas of learning. So along with that came the knowledge that it's not enough only to work on work skills. We also had to work on language and communication. So typically language and communication means working with a speech therapist, working with a language therapist, which is things that we have all done and done and done and we keep on doing. So therapy has a permanent place in our lives somewhere in one corner. The therapy component is always there. But we also need to do other kinds of learning which goes beyond therapy. Everyday learning. So that's when I set up a language and communication program called TalkTime, which encourages children with autism to talk about the things that matter to them. Functional topics. So it is woven into our program through the year. So when in our center, the year begins in the month of June. So at the month of August, the first things that happen in the month of August. Events of importance, you have Independence Day, you have Raksha Bandhan, followed by you have Ganesh Chaturthi. So all the things that our children see around them. So you go into the market, you see lot of Rakhis. You have people saying Happy Raksha Bandhan to each other. You have people giving gifts to each other. Even in our house, we may be celebrating. And you have our children who are autistic, who may not be able to talk about it, but who are a part of it, who are also celebrating with us. But how about giving them a chance to talk about it, to express themselves? That you know what, this is Raksha Bandhan. And Raksha Bandhan is about a brother and a sister. It's about exchanging gifts. It's about tying a rakhi. It's about eating a piece of chocolate. It's about being happy. Ganesh Chaturthi is about bringing Ganpati home. It's about doing an aarti, about putting a mala for Ganpati. And we take Ganpati for Visarjan. And we say bye to Ganpati. How about giving them a chance to talk about it? So that's how TalkTime was developed as an audio-visual program, which gives children with autism a chance to present back to us. TalkTime is a dialogue. It's not a monologue. It's not a teacher-driven program. It is driven by a person with autism. If TalkTime has to be successful, if Bindu is my teacher and I am Lakshmi, and I'm, let's say, a 15 or a 16-year-old girl with autism, and Bindu is my teacher at Together Foundation, Bindu will pick up a TalkTime program. She'll flash it on the projector screen. She'll keep a whole lot of things with her. And she'll take me through that audio-visual program. And she'll say, Lakshmi, come, let me talk to you. And she'll take me through it with the help of the pictures and with the help of the objects, regardless of whether I'm verbal or I'm non-verbal. She'll take me through a presentation on Ganpati with actions, with pictures, with words, with songs, with videos. And then she'll do it again with me. And then she'll do it again with me. And then she'll ask me, Lakshmi, would you like to tell me? Come, let me press the pictures for you. Let me hold the remote for you. Will you come and stand here and will you talk to me about it? And it's so beautiful to see that person with autism, regardless of verbal or non-verbal, presenting back to you with that presentation. They come back to you and take you through Ganpati and what it means. So it became a very successful program. And to this day, it is practiced through the year for all important things that happen in the year. And today I'm so happy to share with you that parents have started doing TalkTime on their own. So they understand the value of the TalkTime program. So today, you won't believe it, I have Parents at Together Foundation who don't wait for the teachers anymore. So when we go for a picnic, the primary duty of the teachers is to put up a TalkTime PPT on the WhatsApp group about the picnic. It's called Before the Picnic. So it talks about where are we going, how are we going, what are we going to do there, what are we going to eat there, who is going with us, when do we come back, how do we come back. Simple. Actually pictorially representing what's going to happen at the picnic. So what do parents do? We share that PPT a few days in advance. So parents start taking their children through it and asking them, now will you tell me where are you going? Using this PPT and using these pictures. And after the picnic, immediately on the day of the picnic itself, one teacher is put in charge of taking pictures and videos and putting it on the group. It's a TalkTime called After the Picnic. And that we do the day they come back from the picnic itself. We're in a big hurry to do it. I'll tell you why. Imagine that Bindu goes for a wedding today. Imagine that she attends a dear friend's wedding and comes home in the evening, full of joy, full of happiness, that I went for my friend's marriage today. And I met this person, I met that person. And I ate this and the food was really nice, And I gave this gift and they gave me the small gift when I left. And I had so much of fun. Imagine if Bindu doesn't get a chance to talk about it when she comes back home. Imagine if any of us didn't get a chance to talk about something after coming back home. And our children with autism face this all the time because of their communication barriers, because of not having enough language and enough support to talk about it. So TalkTime sets you free. It's like opening a gate and saying, please talk. Talk with pictures, talk with videos, talk with visuals, talk with gestures, talk with words. Here I'm giving the support system to you. You use it and you talk. And they feel so good when they come back and they tell you that I ate pani puri today, I went swimming today, and this boy sat next to me in the bus because he has pictures, of everything. So he uses that and he takes you through it. And when you go to bed at night, you feel so happy because you both have shared what has happened that day. So the same joy that Bindu gets by talking about a wedding that she went to, somebody with autism gets by talking about a picnic that he or she went to. So these are some of the other programs we do at Together, which go beyond work skills. And one of the biggest learning lessons I got from a residential community that I visited for adults with autism was when one of the adults told me, young lady who told me very casually, she said, Sangeetha, before I go to sleep at night, I talk to my sister every day. She's in the US. I talk to her on the phone every day. And I got the shock of my life. I said, oh my God, I have to teach phone also. So I realized it with a sense of horror because Lakshmi and Jayanti, I couldn't imagine them talking on the phone. They were not even ready to look at the phone. Yeah, where talking on the phone was something else. It was like an unrealizable dream. But then I realized this is very important because our children are not going to be with us all the time. And that's not a tragedy, mind you. Our children also have to grow, no, like other children. Their world can't be limited to amma, appa, mummy, and daddy. No? It has to become bigger. That's what inclusion and equality is all about. If we don't give equality to our children, then who will? Their world is going to consist of other people. So tomorrow, if Lakshmi wants to talk to me, or if Jayanti wants to talk to me, or if Lakshmi wants to talk to her brother or talk to her father, what is she supposed to do if she hasn't had enough exposure to talking on the phone? So we started a training program called Phone a Friend with Autism. That also took several years to develop and get off the road, because many people believe that it was not a realistic program. But the program has today taken off in a very big way. And today, every adult at Together Foundation carries a phone to the center. It is compulsory. You can't come to work without a phone. And before you go home, somebody will call you at least 2 times. Before you leave the center and you go home, you will get a video call. And the teachers will support you and help you to talk and help you to do things with them that you enjoy doing. So, for example, Lakshmi doesn't enjoy talking, my daughter. She finds it irritating. So, on the phone, it's like, hello, it's how are you? Did you have a good day? And after that, she loses patience. She gets irritated if I ask her things like, what did you do today? Are it's such an intangible question. What did you do today? How am I supposed to tell you? What did I do today? I don't have that much of language with me. And even if you give me pictures, I'm not interested in showing those pictures to you. But with the same Lakshmi, if I tell her, Lakshmi, I'll sing a song for you. Will you sing a song for me? She's very happy. I keep it short. So I sing a small song for her, not more than a minute. And then I invite her to sing a song with me. She's very happy. She immediately breaks into a song because she loves singing. Somebody else with autism in our center likes to draw. There's a young man called Rohit who has excellent language. He is one person who talks a lot in the phone program. He's actually able to hold a conversation. There are many of our adults who are non-verbal, who don't talk on the phone, but who engage in activities on the phone, enjoyable, short activities. So you won't believe, all the adults in our center are on the phone program now, and all of them are having 2 phone calls a day, not with teachers. Not with teachers. Teachers are supporting them from the background. The calls are with their own relatives. The family, 2 of the family members are identified, or friends, who call them every day and have short video calls with them. And the program is going beautifully. And parents are so happy that their children are learning something which is so useful, which tomorrow will stand them in good stead when they move on. So this is what Together Foundation is all about. And I'll put in the website URL. I'll request Bindu to put the website URL on the chat and on your WhatsApp group. I believe you all have a dedicated WhatsApp group. So you can always go into the website and all our programs are documented. So you can access all our programs on the website. Even the phone a friend with autism is documented. Case studies are documented. Talk time program is documented. All the talk time presentations are documented and are free to access and download. So parents can just pick it up, download it, and use it. So that's as far as Together Foundation goes. And if you are ready now, I think should talk to you about the residential project, or should we break for questions? I think we can break for a few questions, Bindu.
Sure, ma'am. We have some questions from the parents already,
Yeah,
but
sure.
they to Together Foundation, or they're mostly about the assisted living facilities in India. So would you like to take them now?
The questions. So let's do one thing, Bindu. I have given you the walkthrough of the project, the Together Community walkthrough. I sent it to you.
Yes, I have the PDF, ma'am. Do you want me to share
No,
that?
not PDF, not PDF. That's a video. It's called walkthrough. Can you just
Yeah,
check your WhatsApp?
yeah, the YouTube video, right?
Yes, could you share that first? Let
Yes,
parents watch it because it's a walkthrough of the residential project. So they'll get a very good idea of what it's about. Then we can take questions. Please enable the audio, Bindu. When you play the video, please enable audio.
yes, I'll do that.
Have you ever wondered where you will live for the rest of your life? A happy place for people with autism, their families and friends, is coming up at Hosur in 2025. Welcome to our beautiful world. We are Lakshmi and Jayanti. We are 19 years old and we have autism. This is going to be our new home from 2025, where we will learn to live independently with many friends who have autism and special needs. Our home, the Together community, is part of a very big campus of 45 acres called Sri Shankara Colony. Vedanta is building 80 villas here called Vedanta Utsav for senior citizens. There is a lot of open space here and temples and a beautiful lake outside the campus. Come, let us take you inside the Together community. This is where our parents will live in beautiful independent villas. We will come and spend time with our parents in the villas. Our parents too will come over to the studio apartments, both as house parents and to spend time with us. As we walk ahead, you will see a big park with a lot of trees, flowers, and an open gym. Here is a swimming pool for all of us. We are also going to run a small shop here to sell the products that we make. This way leads to our studio apartments. This entire zone is vehicle free for our safety and comfort. As you enter the studio apartment building, you will see two separate sections for men and women. There are CCTV cameras in our studio apartments and across common areas of the campus for our safety. Circled around a beautiful central courtyard that we can all look into and get a pleasant breeze. Our studio apartments are thoughtfully designed with an acrylic door to help the caregivers see us. There is also a grill door to every apartment so we can wave or call out to the caregiver. The studio apartments open into a large living room that has group caregivers to support us 24/7. There will also be a house parent by turn in the common area to support us. Every studio apartment has separate beds and wardrobes for the special adult and the individual caregiver. There is an attached washroom and the balcony has safety grills. Next door is the primary health center with a 24/7 ICU trained nurse, ambulance, and a doctor on call. Let us walk into the Skill Center building. Here is the cafeteria where we will have our meals with friends, visitors, and all our parents. We have our own gymnasium and games room. This is our skill center where we will train and work in many areas. Our community hall is split into two parts for both indoor and outdoor get-togethers on weekends. We have lots of space to walk around both inside and outside the Together community. We have our own temple. We also have many neighbors across Sri Shankara Colony and Vedanta Utsav for senior citizens. We are looking forward to coming here and starting our journey towards independent living. Come and meet us, our friends with special needs, and our big circle of parents, caregivers, and professionals at the Together community. Thank you, Bindu. Am I audible, Bindu?
Yes, ma'am. There are some questions in the chat also.
Yeah, so before that, just a quick the Together community is based at Hosur. Hosur is the border of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Technically, it is Tamil Nadu, but it's closer to Bangalore. It's also known popularly as Greater Bangalore. And it's a project, it's a residential project that's presently under construction and is going to go live in 2025. In 2025, I will also be moving there with my daughters. And the project it's a gated community. It's part of a much larger campus called Sri Shankara Colony, which is a 45-acre huge place. In that, we have carved out a smaller space for ourselves called the Together Community. So, what does it consist of, the Together Community? It consists of individual studio apartment accommodation for all our children with special needs. When I say studio apartment accommodation, please don't imagine your child sitting alone in some apartment somewhere. No. It's all together in one house place. They'll all have their individual accommodation with the support of group caregivers, individual caregivers, mental health professionals, all of that. In the same campus, you have the houses of the parents. It's a parent driven community. So when somebody takes admission with us, the parent also moves in into the community. But obviously, the parent and child don't stay together. Otherwise, what's the point? Why are we doing all this? We might as well continue staying wherever we are staying now. The whole point of going to a place like this is, in our lifetime, in front of our own eyes, we want to see that our children are happy, they're living on their own, they have enough help, there are people who understand them, and there are always parents to watch over them. So, parents have their own accommodation, their own independent villas. The gated community also has a fully vegetarian cafeteria that takes care of all the meal requirements of all the residents. It has a dedicated caregiver base for all the special adults. There's a community hall, there's a park, there's a gymnasium, there is a temple, there's a swimming pool. There is everything needed for them to live a full life, because please remember, it is not a hostel, it is their home. They're going to live there for the rest of their lives. So it has everything needed for them to lead a complete life. And when they step out of their studio apartment, and they step out of even the Together community, they will see the bigger campus of Sri Shankara Colony. So our children won't be lonely. They won't be in an isolated place. They will always see other people. They will always be interacting with others. So that's the beauty of the project, which according to me is one of its strongest points, that it's part of a much larger community. So our children have their privacy. They have their own space, dedicated space which nobody can interfere with. But at the same time, when they step out, they see a lot of people. If they want to go shopping and they get into the car, within 20 minutes, they will reach Hosur market. They can go for a meal, or they can go for a cup of coffee, or they can go and buy some clothes, or whatever it is. So it's also very close to some of the best known multi-speciality hospitals. And the whole project, the running of the Together community, is being done by Together Foundation in partnership with Vedanta Senior Living. Vedanta Senior Living, they are specialists in senior living care, and they manage several senior living communities across South India. So they are supporting us as far as developing the community is concerned, developing the project, taking care of the entire housekeeping, maintenance, food, security, primary health care, tying up with hospitals for immediate medical intervention, all of that. And Together Foundation will concentrate all its services on the special adults, on their care, on the vocational training. See, you must imagine that when they get up in the morning, they must also go to work, no? They must have a good active life. They must be engaged in different tasks and activities. They should get tired at the end of the day and come back home. They should exercise, they should have fun, they should have music, there should be dance, they should go to the temple, they should be get togethers, they should go out to eat. Everything that we get, everything that we take for granted, basically, wherever we are, that also has to be available when they come there. But it's going to be done in a structured, safe manner. Somebody has put a question: who will oversee the adult living in the community once the parents are gone? What would happen to the house in which the parents live? Would there be monthly maintenance for the adult? How will it work? So, as far as the running of the community is concerned, it is run by, there are three levels of administrative care for the special adults. Okay. So one is you have the Together Foundation and Vedanta Senior Living, which are developing and managing the community and who will take full responsibility for the running of the community. So there will be a board of people, a committee, a group of people who will be running it. Apart from that, you have the Together Parents Welfare Trust. Every parent who joins the community will be part of the Together Parents Welfare Trust. And the parents together will watch over the lives of the special adults. Always the parents will have a say in how the special adults lead their lives. This is what you call the ultimate litmus test to ensure that the quality of services are always maintained. One example comes to me, which from my childhood. I'm giving you a totally unrelated example, but as parents of people with special needs, you will know what I mean. My father's father, my grandfather, was a jail superintendent in Tanjavur or Kadalur or something. They were in interior Tamil Nadu. So my father used to tell me about how his father used to wake up early in the morning. At 4:30 in the morning, my grandfather, his name was M.R. Srinivasan, to get up, have his bath, and he would go to the jail. And he would watch over the food being prepared. And he would eat the first meal of the day that the jail inmates were going to eat. He used to eat that and he used to come back home. That example stayed with me. My father must have told me this when I was some 5, 7, 10 years old. I'm 51 years old today. But that example has stayed with me because it is the ultimate commitment that you show. When you eat the food that your peers are eating, when you walk on the same garden where they are walking, when you use the washrooms that they are using, when you work in the same vocational area where they are working, when you drink the same water that they are drinking, you use the same gym equipment that they are using, and you worship at the same temple where they are going, you will constantly evaluate whether things are the way they are supposed to be. That is why the role of parents is very important. Parents are not going to do day to day management. They're not going to get up in the morning and they won't be responsible for checking, has the watchman reported on duty? Has the cook come? Have the vegetables been bought? No. Parents are also entitled to their time. They're also entitled to a retired life. So that the Vedanta Senior Living and Together Foundation, the administrative, this one of the Together community will take care of that. But it will be jointly experienced by the parents and the special adults. There are no secrets. We're all eating the same food. This apartments where our children are living, the parents will come and see them there every day. So our children will also come to our villas and stay with us. Once a week, they will come to the villas, they'll spend the night at the parents' house. So there will be that coming and going, there'll be a lot of interaction. But the community will be much bigger than my father and my mother. So we are helping them to embrace a larger community and eventually to be lived happily even when parents are no more. Because that is what we want, end of the day. We want our children to smile, to be emotionally secure, to go to bed peacefully, to go about their work peacefully, to have people who love them and who care for them and who respect them. That is the mission, that is the founding principle of the Together community. So that is going to be done by these different levels of management of the community. Now, as far as the cost of the project is concerned, so what happens is when parents buy into the community, there are two components. One is they buy their own house, their own villa. That is an absolute purchase which belongs to them. Two is they put down a deposit for the studio apartment for the lifetime use of the special adult. As long as the special adult is there, that studio apartment will be resided by the special adult and nobody can disturb the special adult living there. Even after the parents pass away, He will continue to live there, and he will continue to be cared for by
But
all teams of the professionals at the Together community and the Parent Welfare Trust. Okay. Now, as far as the maintenance is concerned, yes. So there is a monthly maintenance which covers the cost of the special adult, the group caregiving, the food, the vocational training, all of that. The entire maintenance of the project, the maintenance of the parents' apartment, all of that. There is a monthly maintenance. In fact, Bindu, if you can share the PDF of the brochure here, the brochure has the financials also. It actually has a breakup of what the monthly cost is and the breakup of that monthly cost also. So please go through that. And one more important thing that I want to share with all of you is typically how we do admission at the Together community is when a parent shows interest and asks questions the way some of the parents here are asking, we ask them to fill an online application form. Once you fill the form, we also give you the brochure and stuff like that. And then we invite you for a one-to-one parent meeting with the directors of the Together community. That is with me and CP and with the directors of Vedanta Senior Living. The parent will have a one-to-one meeting with us where you will ask all the questions that are pertinent to you. Because end of the day, each of our children have their own specific requirements. Some of our children have dietary requirements. Some of our children have certain behavior challenges. And we need to discuss them before we make such a big decision. So step one is to fill the online application form. Step two, you will have an online meeting. And in the meantime, you must go through the brochure, which I think Bindu has shared with you. Please download the brochure. Bindu, I don't mind even if you share my WhatsApp number on the group. If any of you want to WhatsApp me later on and ask for some details, feel free. I'll connect you with Vedanta and they will also give you more information. Okay. So that is one thing. Are there any other questions?
there are a couple of questions in the chat that came
Yeah.
up when you were talking. Chapa Saha, she has asked, some parents find it difficult to decide on assisted living because they have another child who has different needs. So could you please give some insights that will help parents in this decision making?
See, it's not easy because I'm in the same boat. I have two daughters who are autistic and who are 20 years old. Apart from that, I have a son and another daughter who are neurotypical who are 20 years old. Okay. And all of them need their parents at this age to mentor them, help them, guide them, all of that. So, despite that, I'm moving to the Together community with Lakshmi and Jayanti because CP, my husband, will not move with me. He will be there to support the other two children while I move to the community. Because at some point of time, we have to put our priorities in order. Because it will take a few years for us to make this transition, to go into a new place with our children, to help our children to settle down, to accept a new home, to accept a new way of living completely. Just imagine. Now Lakshmi and Jayanti live with me inside the same house. We see each other all the time. From the time they get up in the morning to the time they go to bed at night. And even at 2 in the morning, if I wake up, I can go to their room anytime and peep in and see, are they okay? That's the kind of contact we have now. Now, when we go to Hosur, what will happen? When I go to Hosur, my role as a parent, every parent, nobody is going to come and separate me and my daughter. How will the transition happen when I go to Hosur? First, I will go to the studio apartment. I will not go to my villa. I will go with Lakshmi and Jayanti to the studio apartment. I will help them to unpack and put their things out there. We will do a Graha Pravesam for their house. We will call family members. We will call the elders of the family to bless them and to help them start their new life. There is a common living area there. I will wait there. I will tell them. I will be there to support them as they start staying in the studio apartment. There will be caregivers to support them. There will be a counselor and other mental health professionals. And I'm not going to go anywhere near my villa for some time. But am I going to sleep in the studio apartment with Lakshmi and Jayanti? Certainly not. Because the moment I do that, I will be crossing the boundary. The moment I start sleeping in the studio apartment, Lakshmi will think, very nice, Amma is going to sleep here, very good. She'll come to me in the evening, catch my hand and take me. Amma, come. So right from the beginning, I need to very nicely show Lakshmi, don't worry, you sleep here, I am there. I am sitting here by your side. I am there to support you. Other parents are there to support you. Every time you look, you will find me there. And we are not going to do this alone. We are 40 parents. We are not going to let go of each other. And we are going to have a team of very good professionals to help us do this. So I am frankly in a hurry to start this journey so that I am peaceful, that I have sorted out this important milestone in my children's lives and set them free. It is my duty to them. I am not doing anything sad or tragic. I'm not doing it. Yes, I will miss. I'm no doubt about it. It's something that I'm dealing with, preparing myself for every day. Can you imagine not cooking for my daughters? What am I supposed to do in the kitchen? Cook for whom? For my husband? No, I'm not interested. So, well, the very fact that I won't get up in the morning and figure out what to make for their breakfast, my life is going to be very different. But it's okay. I will also eat in the cafeteria. It's going to be wonderful, vegetarian, nutritious food prepared by a nutritionist, which is going to have nice food, junk food, healthy food, everything. Everything is going to be out there. So I will also imagine how many times I will meet them from morning to night. First thing is every day I can go to the studio apartment and spend time with them. Second, I can meet them for breakfast, I can meet them for lunch, I can meet them for dinner. I can go to the vocational training area and I can say hi to them when they are working. When they go for a walk in the park, I can go for a walk in the park and say, I'll also walk with you for some time. When we go to the temple to celebrate a festival, I will be there. But their world will be bigger than me, is what I'm saying. It won't be only Sangeetha and Amma anymore. They will be seeing so many of us, and all the parents are going to be kind to each other's children. Come on. That's why we are there. We are there so that it's one for all and all for one. And we are making our children's worlds that much bigger. Somebody has put up a question here about what happens to the villa of the parents and what happens to the studio apartment after the lifetime. So what happens is parents at the time of joining the community itself, they nominate what will happen to the villa after their lifetime. So there are 2, 3 choices. One is the parent says, let the villa be sold. We don't want this villa. Let the villa be sold and the money be given to whoever they want to give it to. I want to give it to my other child, or I wanted to revert to the trust of my special needs child, whatever it is. It's up to the parent what he or she decides. The other is the parent says, no, I don't want this villa to be sold because I have another relative, or I have my older son or my older daughter who will come and live in this villa. So I don't want it to be sold. So that's another option. But mind you, somebody must live in that villa. It cannot be an unoccupied villa because then we are denying another family a chance to come and occupy the villa. In fact, that is why we have 40 villas, but we have 54 studio apartments. You have 14 extra studio apartments. Why? Only because of this, that when parents pass on and a new family comes, the special adult will still be occupying the same studio apartment. So you need an extra studio apartment for the new special adult, right? So that's one. As far as the studio apartment goes, it is the right of the special adult to live there for his entire lifetime. At the end of the lifetime of the special adult, that also the parent would have nominated. So that amount which the parent has put into the studio apartment, again the parent would have nominated who it should go to. It should go to my relative or it should go into a trust or whatever it is. So that is how it will work after the parents are no more. As far as managing your other children go and moving into the community goes. These are all very, very individual decisions which we have to take. We have to keep juggling. There are so many parents, mind you, so many parents where only one is moving and the other is not moving. And there are cases where the grandparents are moving, the legal guardians are moving, but the parents are not moving because both the parents are in their 40s. Both of them are earning. They can't afford to give up their jobs also. So they have asked the legal guardians to move in. Because the concept is parent driven. So you can't have the adult coming in into the community without his family, because his family also has a say in the management of the community. That's how it's been designed. So it's very important for a family member to move in. What else, Bindu?
There is a question about the transport from the facility to the city. Or do we need to have a car to be there, or can we use the public transport?
You don't need to have a car. That is where, what Vedanta has explained to us, because they manage so many senior living communities. They say that many retired people, once they move in into a community like this, they sell the car because it's a waste, because they don't use the car every day. So they will have two dedicated cars within the community, which parents can hire like a taxi and go into the city and come. Hosur market is only 20 minutes from the project. In fact, those of you who want to see the project, you can WhatsApp me. I'll share the Vedanta number with you. And those of you who are in and around Hosur, you can go and visit the project and see how it is. So you don't need to have your own vehicle. You can do without it quite. And we're very close to the Hosur bus stand and also to the Hosur railway station, which is connected to Bangalore and to Mysore.
Ma'am, there's a question on privacy. So can anyone peep into the studios? Is it not violation of the privacy of the residents?
Sorry, can
there?
anyone?
Can anyone peep into the studios where autistic adults are staying? And
No.
is it not violation of their privacy?
Of course, nobody can peep into it because it is the home of the special adult, no? It's the home of the special adult. So what will happen is everything that we do has to have a system to promote the safety and dignity of special adults. Okay. So parents will have specific timings when they can go and inside and see the special adults. During those specific timings, let's say between the parents, we will decide. Suppose we say every day morning visiting is between X to X time, evening visiting is between X to X time, and night to say good night to our children is so and so to so and so time. At that time, caregivers will be patrolling the common areas. So parents will not enter the studio apartments of other children. They will enter only their child's studio apartment. And we will also ensure that the dignity of the other special adults is maintained. Let me give you a small example. Again, I'll give the example of Bindu and Lakshmi. Okay, so there's Bindu and there is Lakshmi. And both of them are going into the community. Bindu is the parent and Lakshmi is the daughter. Okay, now suppose Bindu's sister comes, that is Lakshmi's aunt comes. You mean to say that she will not be allowed to see Lakshmi's studio apartment? I think that's very wrong. Because we have to respect the accommodation of our special children. We cannot make it a jail which nobody can visit. Then you're not giving them respect. You're not giving them that sense of pride of bringing my relative and saying, come see my home. My nameplate is there on the door. Lakshmi Chakrapani is written on the door. It is my house. Daily, I'm putting a kolam rangoli and I'm keeping it outside my house in the morning. I'm switching on a battery operated diya and I'm starting my prayers in the morning. This is my home. But can they walk in anytime? No. By allowing people to walk in anytime, will we be protecting the privacy of our special adults? No. There will be specific hours when parents, relatives can come in, spend time with their children. They can sit in the common area, play a game of carom. So we have to promote an atmosphere of relaxation. We cannot make it a jail. Our children have to feel it is their home. And for that, we have to relax. However, we have to have a very tight vigil on their safety and security. We have to walk both the paths. Their safety cannot be compromised in any manner.
Ma'am, there are some questions from the document and here. So, what is the minimum age for a person to join the community? Is there a minimum or maximum age?
See, there are residential communities that accept very young children. But here, when we look at the model of the studio apartment and all of that, I would say that not less than 16 years old. I would say that's the ideal age. In fact, many of the parents who have joined the community, their children are 14. By the time the community comes up and they move, the child will be 16. Okay. So I would say 16 is the right age because the parents are also there in the same community. So they're not getting completely separated from their parents, but they are taking those first few vital steps towards, experiencing an independent life. So,
yeah. And one more question on this in the same on the lines. What are the prerequisites for someone to stay in the studios? Should they have some basic life skills that they can do independently? And what do you look for?
yes, no, definitely. That's what it's not only together community. Don't think of it as something that only together community means. Whether it's together community, whether it's some other community, even if you're not going to put your child in a residential at all, and you find some other solution and say, my aunt is going to look after, uncle is going to look after, cousin is going to look after, my child's elder brother is going to look after. The first and foremost area that we need to empower our children on is their daily living skills, is using the washroom independently, cleaning themselves up, having a bath, learning to cover themselves adequately, locking the bathroom when they use it so that nobody can just walk in and see them in a vulnerable state, teaching them to wear their clothes and come out of the bathroom, handling their period, eating their food, knowing how to ask for more food, knowing how to say, I don't want this, I want this. Simple things which promote a sense of peace and harmony and independence. Because the more you require help in these areas, the more becomes your dependence on a family member or a caregiver, which makes it very difficult for people who are uh, responsible for their welfare. When they have to do all these small things for our children, it becomes difficult in the long run because the caregiver is also growing older and the child is also growing older. So maximum attention has to be paid to this area. In fact, for the parents who have joined our community, we have already started a support group where we have already started working on getting ready for moving into the community. Basic things like, making sure that they know how to brush. They may, for example, you may have a child who's not able to have his bath completely on his own, but at least with guidance he is having. Suppose, okay, all you have to do is to tell him to fill his water, mix his hot water and cold water, okay, and get him to take out his soap and his loofah and his whatever he needs and his change of clothes, put everything in, and then tell him, okay, chalo, now you have your bath. If he's able to manage after that, I think it's great. If he doesn't require somebody to go inside the bathroom and actually give him his bath. So what I've done with my daughters is I have what I call the once a week dry cleaning bath, laundry. So what they do is they wear a swimming costume because I refuse to see them without their, being appropriately clothed. That's not going to happen. So they wear a swimming costume and then I enter the bathroom. And then there's a visual schedule for the bath. It's there even on our website. You can download it and take it. So it's a visual schedule for the bath, which is put up there. So I tell them to point to the picture and cover that body part. It's like a revision before the exam. So Monday to Saturday, you're on your own. And I pray to God fervently, oh my God, please let them have a decent bath inside. God knows what is going on inside, but let them have a proper bath. Because I can hear the sound of the water. But pata nahi what else they are doing, whether they're putting soap, not putting soap. One can only pray. Sunday, I don't pray. Sunday, I believe in myself. I say, wear a swimming costume. And I say, chalo, follow all the steps and scrub yourself nicely. And I also wash off their hair for them because I haven't managed to teach them shampooing of the hair. Somehow I haven't managed to get a grip on that. So since they are covered, I quickly go and I shampoo off their hair and I leave the bathroom, after which they continue pouring water and playing with the water for some time and then wear their clothes and come out. So there are solutions for this to help our children protect their privacy and dignity and give them the help they need. So it's going to be done at the Together community also. No caregiver will be allowed to close the bathroom door. That's the rule. The bathroom door has to be open. The adult should be wearing at least swimming trunks. Should not be standing without clothes completely. You will not touch the body part of the adult. You will use a long elongated object with which you tap that body part and say brush here. I will not put my hand on the thighs or the back and say brush here. I will not touch the adult. I don't do that with my daughters also. I've got my father's walking stick, so I use that and I poke. I say, they put over there. Chalo, brush over there, brush over here. So that they also understand that this is my body. And nobody can just see it just like that. Nobody can touch me just like that. So these are things where Together community will obviously offer support to the adults. It's not going to say that, acha chalo, you don't know how to have bath, what to do, you somehow manage on your own. No. So there will be one-to-one caregivers for those who require it. There will be group caregivers for those who can manage with group caregivers. But even caregiving has to be taught, has to be monitored, has to be supervised. And there has to be a lot of sensitization. And caregiving also is not about doing the task for him. Effective caregiving is when you help the adult to do the task himself. So that over a period of time, their independence increases bit by bit by bit. It's not that he doesn't know how to have his bath, so this caregiver has to go in and help him have his bath. No. This caregiver has to go in and teach him how to have his own bath. At any point of time, we have to work at reducing the dependence on the caregiver. That it should be the goal of every parent, irrespective of residential living.
So because you brought up caregivers, so do they undergo any training before they start?
Yes. In autism, in caring for people with autism.
So also for non-speaking adults who join
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
So will the caregivers know how to use AAC with them and how to communicate with them in a way that they can understand?
See, it's all based on the needs of that particular adult. So you're talking about AAC. So you're talking about an adult who knows AAC. There may be many non-speaking adults who don't use AAC, who use a combination of gestures and signs and pictures and pointing to get through the day. So the caregiver will be sensitized to the adult. So one is the caregiver training program for working with people, for supporting people with autism. That's level 1. Level 2 is the caregiver who's assigned to a particular adult will then be trained for that adult, no Bindu. So if that particular adult is using AAC, the caregiver, the parents in fact will be involved in training the caregiver. Because obviously the parents also will be using AAC. So the faculty supervisors will ensure that the parents get enough time to spend with the caregiver and do a demonstration and actually walk them through it, that this is how my child uses AAC and this is how you can also use it to communicate with my child. So that has to be done on a one-to-one basis. Each of our adults, each of our children has a very unique way of communicating. Not all of them use even AAC will be used in different ways. If you look at it that way, you just can't say AAC and just apply it randomly to one group of people. For all you know, they'll all be using AAC in a very different way. Even that will have to be factored in.
Yeah. So there is a question on what are the facilities inside the assisted living, like ambulance, doctor, first aid kit, nurse. So these and then other safety measures, including having a CCTV camera inside the studios. Is that allowed, or is it only done for a period of time?
No, it's very much allowed. The entire campus is CCTV monitored. So the studio apartments of the adults, the common living areas, the common areas of the campus, where you have the pool, you have the park, you have the gymnasium, you have the temple, you have the community hall, the vocational training center, the cafeteria, all of them will be CCTV monitored. The studio apartment of the special adult, the CCTV will be connected directly to the parent's phone. So parent can see what my child is doing inside the room. Because obviously there'll be huge amount of anxiety, particularly in the first few years, to know that our child is safe and our child is all right. That's one part of it. Second part of it is safety is much more than CCTV, Bindu. CCTV is only one part of it. Safety has to be evaluated across many parameters. The people who are working in the campus, the accessibility of the different parts of the campus, the kind of equipment that is used, the kind of work they do in the vocational center, their travel system, when they travel outside the community as a group, if they go for a picnic or they go for a movie, everything has to be evaluated from the angle of safety. No, from the point of view of the people, from the point of view of the devices which are being used, from the systems that are being used, everything. So there's going to be what you call a very comprehensive safety protocol, which parents also will be aware of. Since it's a parent driven community, at any point of time, parents will be very closely involved with what the systems are. Did I miss anything? Did you ask something else also?
The proximity to hospitals, I think that was another question.
Yeah,
How close?
proximity to hospitals, yes. So within 7 minutes of, uh, because I took the car and actually measured, how much time is it taking. Within 7 minutes of our project, we have a small hospital called Metro, which for immediate thing. Within 15 minutes, you have Kaveri, which all of you know, Kaveri chain of hospitals. You have Kaveri multi-speciality hospital. Within 45 minutes, you have Narayana Hridayalaya, with whom we are going to have a tie-up for all our residents, special adults, parents, everybody. Apart from that, that in fact Vedanta does for all its senior living communities. All of you know, senior living communities cannot operate without a very good medical system in place. Same thing will be applied here. We'll have a primary health center. There'll be an ICU trained nurse. There'll be a doctor on call. There'll be a physiotherapist in the premises. We also have a medical committee consisting of adult psychiatrists, adult neurologists, counselor, pediatricians, who will be available for us for online consultations. So medical, and we'll also have tie-up with a psychiatric intervention unit for psychiatric intervention if it is so required, for medical emergencies. So there will be a documented protocol for it.
Ma'am, there are two questions on employment. One is very different questions. One is if an autistic individual is working somewhere, because Hosur is close to Electronic City and Bangalore, can he still stay in the community as part of,
Wonderful. Why not? Why not? If he is able to go to work and get open employment, why would we not support him? Of course he can. He can stay in the community and go to work and come.
And like
The
you said,
community itself will have a sheltered workshop, mind you. The community is going to have a full-fledged sheltered workshop where our adults will contribute to different work areas. Apart from that, adults will be involved with the management of the community. They are not going to be guests in their community. By turns, they will go for housekeeping, they'll go for laundry, they'll go for temple, they'll go for kitchen, they'll go for cafeteria, they'll go for gardening. They will have groups and they will go in groups with their caregivers to contribute to each of those areas. They should know the complex inside out. No part of the complex should be strange or unique to them. It's only by involving them that they will feel a sense of ownership. Even cleaning their rooms. Of course, you'll have a housekeeping staff who will clean the room. But will they not be expected to make their bed? Of course, they'll be expected to make their bed. Will they not be expected to leave the bathroom clean? Can they leave it dirty? Can they leave dirty clothes everywhere? No, certainly not. Don't they have to dust their rooms and take a dusting cloth and keep the room clean once a day? Can't they spend 10 minutes with their caregiver cleaning up the room? Don't you think they should spend once a week cleaning their wardrobe, taking out all the clothes, wiping the wardrobe, segregating their going out clothes, segregating their home clothes? Don't you think they should do that and take ownership for themselves? So they're going to have a busy life.
So this is all like volunteering, right? But will there be any paid employment opportunities within the community also?
It's not volunteering, it is self-care.
I know. I mean, I'm not not
They are
volunteering, but
contributing. Volunteer is when you do for others.
I'm sorry,
This
ma'am.
they
It
are
means
doing for themselves.
yeah,
No,
for
no, I'm
them.
just saying. It's just as you and I, Bindu, don't we take care of our things at home? Does somebody do everything for us? No. So we should give our children also a chance to take ownership for their own selves. So that's going to be done. In the sheltered workshop, they will earn a stipend for the work they do. That is why when people ask me, what activities are you going to do in the sheltered workshop, Sangeetha? What are the work opportunities you're going to give? That will be developed when the project begins, because you have to have a commercial tie-up. You can't have your adults making candles which are getting stored in a godown somewhere, which nobody ever sees. It's a waste of their time and energy and resources. If we are smart as a parent group, we will study the Hosur area thoroughly and we will see where do the business opportunities lie. Is there a demand for paper bags? Is there a demand for medical paper bags? Is there a demand for shopping bags? Is there a demand for making different kinds of masala, pickle, anything? Whatever it is, we will identify the demands and we will make that. Because our children's work has to touch the life of a customer, has to enter a customer's hands. Only then they will feel good, and we, their parents, will also feel good that they're leading a productive life. And they will earn a stipend from the sale of from the proceeds of whatever they make in the vocational workshop. We go to them.
There is another question, ma'am, just now that came up in the chat. Can the investment be done now, even though the facility won't be used in the next 2 years, but at a much
Can
later?
what be done now?
Can parents buy a villa and make the investment, maybe book a studio
Only
now?
if they are ready to move in, only if they are ready to move in at least minimum by 2026. If not 2025, at least 2026. Otherwise, don't get me wrong, it will become a ghost town. If you allow people to invest in it, parents will say, okay, I'll come when my son is 40 years old. I'll come when my daughter is 35 years old. So what will happen? Let's say next year in 2025, Bindu and Lakshmi go to stay there. They will find only 5 people there. And Bindu will turn around and ask me, why did I come here? Why did I relocate Lakshmi and bring her here and leave everything that she knew there, leave the city, leave wherever she was going, sab kuch chhod ke I've come here to stay with 5 people. So if you want a robust, thriving, lively environment for them, with people to interact with, and with lots of things going on, you want to give them a vibrant life, then you have to have people coming in. And for that, the model has to get activated. So starting in 2025, we have many parents who are going to move in 2025 itself. Maximum by 2026, parents should move in. That's the goal.
And there's a question about grief counseling, because this is a place where maybe there'll be deaths, the parents might die. So are there any mental health in house?
There will be, no, Bindu. There will be, no. There has to be. There has to be a very active system of support. for our children, as they also will face the ups and downs of life that we face. But because of their limitations of language, challenges of language, the kind of support that we give has to be tailored to that, which is why I was telling you about talk time. Because talk time, again, coming back to talk time again, it's a way of talking about something that matters to you. So if Lakshmi gets a talk time which allows her to talk about me, imagine how much of relief she will get. This is my mother. We go for a walk together. She cooks this for me. She sings this song for me, my Amma. Now imagine if she doesn't get a chance to say that and it's all bottled up inside only because she doesn't have words. That would be a tragedy. So, knowing that she doesn't have words, we still have to give a system that helps her to express her thoughts, express herself, and to know that people care for you and people care about how you feel. And they are there to comfort you when you are feeling low. So, that will be done. It has to be done. Non negotiable.
Yeah. Some parents have asked, can they rent a place instead of buying a villa?
No.
Those are the questions I had. Anyone in the audience, do you have any more questions? If you would like to unmute and talk directly, I can do that. Anila, Rupika had a few questions. Does anyone want to talk?
You can
Hello, ma'am.
always keep in touch later. Yeah, hi.
My name is Srinivas, Anila's husband, and Govind Mukund's father. So my kids are 14 and 12, ma'am. And we were seriously exploring such options. Given that you're saying that you're probably looking at somebody to join latest by 2026.
Yeah.
My child, my younger one, both of them have special needs.
Both of them have special needs. Okay.
Yes. So the younger one will be 16 because that's what you had indicated, that the minimum age of 16.
Yeah.
So at least 4 years from
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So, but we were looking for some such project that, where we can be a part of at the same time, not completely overseeing them. So wanted to check, I mean, if this, for example, gets full in 2026, all the 54 and the 40 villas are occupied. Are there new projects anywhere else that will be planned for? Because I don't know.
See, not till we fully establish. See, any project like this requires full-time commitment and attention from the entire team. Okay, and it's a project which has taken us 10 years to develop and establish. So our full concentration is going to be on giving our undivided attention to this project, not only establishing it and not only getting it to start running, but to make sure that it runs smoothly. The first few years are critical for making sure the systems are in place. So that I can't commit to now. Yes, I can give you a list of other residential projects in the country that you can explore. And also, one of the things that you can do is check out Hosur as a place. Hosur as a place also has special education opportunities. Recently, I saw it on social media, but you have to check out more. Are you in Bangalore? Are you
Yes,
based
ma'am.
at Bangalore?
Yes.
So it's easier for you to check out. There is a school called Ishania Foundation in Bangalore. They have set up a center at Hosur, or they are going to set up a center at Hosur for children in the Titan complex. I read about it recently. You must talk to them and check it out. Because a family like you, when they move into a residential community, you may want to admit your elder son into residential, but you may not want to admit the younger one who will still be with you. So, what is he supposed to do? Because he may be at an age when he still needs other inputs that you want for him, which our vocational center may not be able to provide him. So, parents must check out What are the other things available in household? Let me also find out for you. I have given my WhatsApp number here. You can be in touch with me over WhatsApp. So if
Sure.
you figure that one out, it will make it easier for you to move into the community. Because your child can actually go to household in the morning for any training program and come back.
Okay, not at all.
See, we'll have to keep looking at solutions. We'll have to be creative. There is no one way. See,
Agree.
somebody asks, can my son go to work? If he gets a job, why no? In fact, if the other adults who join in, if some of them end up being more independent, we ourselves will try and see whether we're able to help them. If they're able to cope and they're able to manage, considering that parents will also be in the community to support their children. So we will keep looking at creative solutions to help our children lead a full life. So you also as parents, please don't give up. Check out household. See whether it's appealing to you for your children. So you can have the best of both worlds. You can start this also. At the same time, you can be getting your inputs for the little one from other centers which may be in household. Provided it is within distance, we have to also plot out how much travel time is there. Is it practical to go up and down every day? What will it cost you? How will it work out the financials? All of this. So once you check out and you feel that there is even a scope, then what you do is fill an online form and have a meeting with Mr. Chakrapani and with the other Vedanta team who will be able to address questions related to financials, economics, how will it work out, and all of those things. But first, check out Hosur as my sincere suggestion to given what you're describing now about your children.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. That helps.
Sangeeta ma'am, I have to bring this up because the whole of us asking you, requesting you to talk to us was the recent incident that happened, the couple of incidents, without getting into details. So when such things happen, when deaths happen in an assisted living center, what should parents do? Should they report it? Should they? I don't know. They so far it has not come into the light. So should there be a
What do
regulatory?
you mean, should they report it? If there's something going wrong with your child, you have to talk about it.
But
That's
should
your
there also be
duty.
a regulatory body which can come up with some rules
There should
for
be.
such
There should be.
communications?
There has to be. See, there is no. It's like saying that if something goes wrong with my child, can I talk about it and can I solve the problem? Then why are we parents? We have to talk about it. We have to report it. We have to raise the issue. We have to bring it out into the open and see what is the way forward. Okay, that's one. Second thing is, no residential community is picture perfect. Okay, there will always be loopholes. That is why you always have to have a system that questions and evaluates. As I said, safety, you asked me about safety and CCTV. And I told you that CCTV is not the only way of ensuring safety. Safety is a complex subject when it comes to people with autism and other vulnerable people or intellectually vulnerable. Ensuring their safety is another ball game altogether. It requires to be very sensitive and very alert to the different areas where they can face safety challenges. So it is always a work in progress. Never ever can you sit back and take for granted that I am sorted. I have this wonderful foolproof plan. Nothing can ever go wrong where in my community. I can't say that. I always have to say, I sincerely hope that I have a foolproof plan. I need to make sure that I check it, I evaluate it every 3 months, that I have a walkthrough of the project, that I have a what if situation. You should have to have these what if meetings. What if this happens? What am I going to do? What if there's a medical emergency? What am I going to do? What if I have an adult who has a meltdown? What am I going to do? How is the caregiver going to handle him? If the caregiver is not able to physically control him and not able to bring the boy to settle down, then what happens? What do you do to ensure the safety of the adult and yet not take liberties with him? How do I call in the floor supervisor? How do I call in the manager? How do I call in the parents immediately? How do I ensure that parents are immediately informed when something is wrong? How do I take care of the medical well-being? So definitely, see, for parents, it's a traumatic uh, experience to go through their children's safety being endangered. Okay, and then parents get into imaginary mode. What is this going to happen to my child? Oh my God, what will I do? So definitely you have to talk about issues that you face, regardless of where you are, whether you're in a vocational center, whether you're in a residential center. Together at Bombay, our parents form of one WhatsApp group with us. Apart from that, they also have their own WhatsApp group in which they talk about any issues that they have. And we have regular meetings with them and we invite them to discuss any issues that they have, any problems that they have. We have ensured that the center is open to visitors or parents all the time. Parent can walk in anytime. We've tried to create an atmosphere that promotes the safety and transparency. But even then, can I tell you, Bindu, that I've got it sorted? I have 100% safety net at Together Foundation. I hope I do. If you come to Together Foundation for 3 days, Bindu, as a visitor, and you say, can I do a 3-day observation, Sangeetha? And you come and do a 3-day observation and you spend 4-5 hours every day. At the end of the 3 days, when you give me feedback, you may tell me, Sangeetha, I think your teaching programs can improve. Sangeetha, I think you can give a little more attention to that boy. I feel that he is sitting and he is not getting as much attention that he should. Sangeetha, I think you should have a little more language and communication going on. I feel one of your teachers is not giving that kind of support that he or she should give. I sincerely hope you never turn around and tell me, Sangeetha, I saw that teacher not handling one of the students correctly. I sincerely hope you never ever tell me that I saw somebody being touched inappropriately. I would say if something like that were told to me, then that to me would be a very big wake up call, which will make me bring everything to a halt, evaluate it, discuss it openly, change systems, sensitize my staff, take ownership, apologize to the parents, apologize to the adult, and then only move on with better systems in place. This is why we keep it open for visitors and parents, because it's the ultimate litmus test. When you allow people to come inside your workplace, then you are open to questions. This is one way of ensuring that our systems are transparent, because there is no one foolproof solution. Mistakes happen, but what mistakes? And how many mistakes? Nobody does it knowingly, Bindu. Nobody wants something like this to happen. Nobody. None of the institutions, none of the care, none of the providers, none of the heads of institutions. It's a nightmare. Nobody wants it to happen. Having said that, we can't say we didn't want it to happen, it's happened, what to do? No. Because somewhere a life is lost. What are the parents supposed to do? How are they supposed to go on? So yes, parents must raise questions, must get involved, must know what is happening in your child's life, ask for the right to visit the center where your child is going, make it a point to meet the teachers, ask for the right to observe him in the workplace for an hour or two once in a while, know what's going on, have a parents meeting, have a parent group. It is your right as parents to come together and to have a group wherever you may be, whether it's a vocational institution, a school, or a residential. You must be together as a force, constantly evaluating and contributing also. Parents must also contribute and not only question. You must also be ready to give some of your time, some of your resources, some of your energy. How nice it will be if a parent says, I'm ready to spend 2 hours a week at the center. Enough, that's enough. I'm ready to contribute 2 hours, I'm ready to spend at the center a week. Amazing. Look at the kind of contribution you will make to the institution. And that's a wonderful way of knowing what's going on in a very positive way. Not only questioning, but also supporting and also contributing and taking ownership. It's very important.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I think
thank you for your time. My
thanks a
numbers
lot.
too. You can be in touch with me. You can
Yes.
post any further questions. And I think you put the brochure, the walkthrough, and the application form, all three.
I'll
For the
share
parent.
the chat and I'll share it in the groups also.
Get in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much,
Welcome,
Sangeetha ma'am, for
Bye-bye.
taking time for us. Bye.